Hey, welcome to another episode of Asexualise, my asexual life. This is supposed to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual. I share my asexual life journey, all to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that great big subscribe button and hit that bell icon. So sometimes you can do the right thing, but with the wrong people. And what happens, it can be very painful, heartache and heartbreak. And so you need to understand that you can be a really good person. You can do everything you can to help a relationship. But you have to understand that there are more than one person in a relationship. And if the other person is not prepared to pull their weight and put as much time, energy, and effort into the relationship and or friendship as you are, then, sadly, you cannot continue to pull that sledge, if you like, by yourself, right? So if you think about Christmas, I know it's only September when I'm live now, but if you think about Christmas and you think about the reindeer, Santa had to have X amount of reindeer to pull the sleigh. They all had to work together as a team in unison, if you like. And even if, just one reindeer was missing, it would make all the difference. So other reindeer would notice that that reindeer was missing. If you take part as a team and you're doing a group activity, for example, and then all of a sudden someone in the group isn't actually participating in the group and, they're kind of on the sidelines and, you would usually miss them in that team. You would usually be able to feel the fact that you're a person down, if you like, especially if it's sports. Unless you've got reserves, once someone decides they're not going to play the game anymore for whatever reason, then you're left at a disadvantage. And dating and relationships is very similar. You're left at a disadvantage if there's only you playing the game, right? The game of life, the game of relationships and dating. Not that it should be a game, but, we are living in a world which needs to have communication and connection with each other. And you could be the person in the relationship that's doing all the work. You could be the person that's caring about the person, that's messaging to check that they're okay, that's wanting to communicate with that person, to video call them, to audio chat with them, to maybe write them a love note. You could be the one who's arranging the dates with them. You could be the one who's there to listen to them when they need you. And even if they like messaging you at a weird hour or something, maybe something's gone wrong in their day and they're having you to lean on, a shoulder to cry on, if you know what I mean. And you could be the one that's doing all the right things, but you just haven't got the right person that you're doing them with, because that person is not reciprocating what you are giving out to them. You are giving things and they are just taking and having and keeping and holding, and they're not giving back to you. And this type of relationship is no good. It ends up being very toxic for the person who's putting all the time, energy, and effort into it. And the other person really is likely maybe self-absorbed, maybe abusive and toxic themselves. Maybe they are literally having some problem, but another person's problem is not your problem, right? It's up to them to sort their shit out, right? You cannot be responsible for another person's behavior. And if someone is ignoring you, not wanting to spend time with you, not putting the time, energy, and effort that you're putting into the relationship and or friendship, then you have to let that person go, because you can't work as a team when any one of you is actually pulling their weight and working in that team. Team is a dual effort, right? Or more than dual effort. It's the sum of the people that are in the group doing the work, right? And unfortunately, you can be the most kind, caring, well-natured person, but if you've got the person who's not like that back to you and they take you for granted and they don't recognize when they've got something good, then they're just going to take you, like I said, for granted, not value worth. And I've said it before on this channel, that someone who doesn't value worth is not worth your value. Someone who doesn't value your time is not worth your time, right? You have to be able to let someone go, even if maybe you feel like as a person you don't want to be a horrible person. Maybe that person has got issues and problems and you really want to kind of like help them and nurture them and want them to not have this problem or problems. But it's not up to you to fix someone. It's not up to you to save someone or help someone, especially you won't help themselves, right? Sometimes the best thing you can do is just leave someone's life. Even if you said you're never going to leave that person, sometimes you have to. You have to like make the decision and choice to change your mind, and that it's not healthy for you to stay with this person. Because sometimes, like I said, you could be a person that's doing all the right things, but you're with the wrong person. If someone's not making you feel cherished, adored, loved, worthy, if they're not making you feel like special and that you're, like, for example, a relationship, that you're not attractive, if you're having to worry and question about whether they care about you, whether they want to spend time with you, whether they are actually attracted to you, if you have to question these things, if they make you feel like less than you are, then this isn't the right relationship for you to be in, whether this is a friendship or a dating relationship scenario, right? A person who's interested in you and loves you and cares about you would not be ignoring your messages. A person who's into you would not be ignoring your messages. A person who wants to have a proper relationship with you would be spending time with you, would be putting energy into being with you, would be putting the effort in. You know, it takes more than one person to do this, right? So it's no good if you're the one putting all the energy and effort in and not having it reciprocated, because no one deserves to be treated like that. You do not deserve to have someone in your life who's making you feel smaller than you are. You should be having someone in your life who's always making you feel as attractive as you can possibly be, who's always cheering you on, and who's being your biggest cheerleader. A healthy relationship is when people support each other. People are there for each other in times of good and bad. It's not when someone's just there on their own and the other person's just listening to them the whole time, or one person's speaking, the other person like isn't saying much. That's not a healthy relationship. A healthy relationship is an interdependent one, not a codependent one, but an interdependent one, where you have a certain dependency with each other, but a healthy one where you still have each other. You know, each other has its own space. Each person has their own space, but is very much integrated into the other person's life. So how does this work, right? So if you're not in a living in situation, then you need to have a lot of open and honest conversations on a daily basis. So you would be including that person in your life regularly. You'd be keeping them informed of what's going on in your life. You'd be basically sharing your day with them, and you'd be like saying stuff like, oh, I'm seeing this friend today, I'm going here, there, this, you know. So you'd be telling the person, you ask their permission to do something, because you don't need their permission, you're your own person, right? But you'd be sharing like what your life is like. You'd be sharing parts of your life and how you feel and think, and you'd be, you know, letting them into your world, letting them into your life. But you both be equally excited to talk to each other, equally interested in each other, equally inspired by each other. You should have someone in your life who inspires you, who brings out the best in you, who encourages you to be the best, who truly believes in you and what you stand for, who truly supports you, right? I have a friend who always makes me feel beautiful. Even though they're not in a relationship with me, they always make me feel beautiful and attractive. They always make me feel magical and supported, and they're always there for me, you know, in good times and bad. So that is a really true best friend, you know. I've got more than one best friend, and this particular person is absolutely amazing for how amazing they make me feel. We're very appreciating each other. We're telling each other we appreciate this about each other, and we're really supporting each other and making each other feel great, you know. And that's what an actual relationship should be like as well. If you're looking to get into a romantic relationship, you should have someone who doesn't make you question if you're attractive to them, who doesn't make you question if they want to speak to you or not, who doesn't make you question if they want to hear from you or not, who doesn't make you want question where they are into you or not, who doesn't make you question yourself and your sanity. You know, you should be having someone who you know is into you, who you know is excited to see you, even their eyes say they're elated to see you. Someone who cherishes and adores you for who you are, and it doesn't matter whether you put on a bit of weight or you lose a bit of weight, or whether you have your hair squiffy, or where you've just got out of bed, you know, your hair's a mess. You should be having someone who makes you feel special and gorgeous and good as much as possible, and who is excited to see you and wants you in their life, right? And if you're the type of person that's a good person, you can get taken advantage of. People can take you for granted. People can like rain on your parade, if you like. People can not value you. They can just think you're like a doormat. But the thing is we're not a doormat if we walk away. If someone doesn't treat us right and they're using and abusing us, we need to walk away. If someone is dismissive of us, someone is ignoring us, you know how horrible it is to ignore someone. And if someone's like not that bothered about seeing you or speaking to you, there's no urgency or excitement to be with you or spend time with you, that's not a good sign, right? People who are my best friends, good friends, true friends, they'll all be there on time to see me. Usually if we do video calls, they'll be really looking forward to spending time with me, and vice versa. They'll just be happy overall that I'm in their life and me them, you know, and they'll make me feel good about myself. You know, when you are in a relationship or dating scenario, you have to ask yourself, how does that other person make you feel about yourself? Not how much do they say they love you. Saying you love someone's an easy thing to say, but how do they make you feel when you're in their presence? Do they make you feel important and special and valued and loved for who you are? Or do they make you feel like you're in the way, you're bothering them, you know, they're not really that interested in you, they're not really that serious about you, they couldn't really care less about you, and they're just going through the motions? That's not what you want. So remember, you might be a good person, you might be doing good things. Don't think that another person's bad behavior is a reflection of you. Don't blame yourself for the way someone else is, because often they've got their own shit they're dealing with and they're putting that shit onto you, right? Maybe they've got an avoidant personality, you know, and a person who's got an avoidant personality will avoid intimate conversations. They will avoid having like difficult discussions. They will avoid like your messages. They will avoid getting intimate with you unless they want it on their own terms. They will avoid anything that like may make them vulnerable, and they will avoid the fact that they might like you, you know. But a good person will be happy that they like you. They'll be like, oh my gosh, I love this person, they're amazing. And they'll mean it. You won't have to prompt them, you won't have to push them to do anything, you won't have to spell it out to them. They'll just naturally believe that. And when they naturally believe that, life is so much better, because you don't have to force anything, you don't have to push anything, you don't have to make out you're something. They can see it for themselves, you know. A good and healthy person will see your example disabilities. If you've got any disabilities, they'll see your disabilities as not a hindrance. They will like see it as something they need to care for you about. They will see it as something that they need to accommodate. And if you're doing really well in spite of your disabilities, then they'll be very supportive and they'll be very proactive in nurturing you and nourishing you. So sometimes we have to just let go of these people that don't treat us well, that, you know, that take us for granted, that don't see the beautiful opportunity in front of them, because they're not that way minded, they're not that way inclined, they're not thinking that way, they're not seeing the opportunities because they're blinded by holding on to the past, maybe resentment, hatred. Maybe they are just so caught up and so self-absorbed and selfish that they can't see a beautiful thing that's in front of them, and they don't recognize it. When they don't value their own worth, they're not going to value your worth, because they're not going to see worth in you when they don't see any worth in themselves, right? So try and always find someone for a relationship or dating scenario who knows who they are, knows what they want, is secure and safe in themselves, and just really, really loves themselves as much as possible, or at least likes themselves, and who wants to have the same type of relationship that you do. You deserve commitment and loyalty and love. You deserve compassion, and you deserve to have a good person. And if someone doesn't treat you right, it doesn't matter how good and nice you are to them, they're not going to change. You can't make someone be nice to you because you're nice to them. They have to want to change for themselves. They have to realize that they are the problem if they're ignoring you, if they're not treating you with the same type of caringness and priority that you're treating them, if they're making excuses not to see or speak to you. You know, someone who really cares about you will go out of their way to spend time with you, to be with you, to love you, to cherish and adore you. And if a person's not making you feel that way, it's time to let them go for your own good, so that you can move on to bigger and better things and to people that really do genuinely care about you. You know, it's no good being around people and spending time with them who don't actually care about you. Some of these people just don't give a damn. They just egotistical. They just want validation, and they're not really doing anything to help you in your life, right? So although you might be a good person, you might think, oh, but I'm good, so why are they treating me like this? But some people just don't realize what a good opportunity they've got in front of them. They don't see the blessings they have in front of them until it's too late, or they just never see them because they're not that way inclined in the mind, right? You know, personally, I would rather have someone who cares about me, loves and adores me and wants to spend time with me, than someone who couldn't care less about me and pushes me away, you know? Because I value and respect myself, and that's what you have to do sometimes. Value yourself enough to know that it's okay to be on your own. It's okay to walk away. It's okay to be with yourself if the people or person that you're interested in really truly isn't being there for you. I hope this makes sense. So let someone go who's not making you feel good about yourself, who you feel like you have to fight to speak to see, to hear from, who you're the one saying basically how good you are or praising yourself and putting yourself up, and they're not really seeing the beauty in you. You need to let someone go like that, because they're not going to get any better. They're not, you know, like, it's like trying to shake them up. Like, do you not realize a good opportunity when you see it? No, these people don't, because they're self-absorbed. Some of them, they're selfish, they're egotistical, they're too busy moaning about their bad life to see that actually they could have a really good life if they paid attention to the people in it. Right? I've come across some people who are like, oh, I'm so lonely and upset and in pain, yet they have people who are interested in them for a relationship or dating, and they don't really want to know. You know, they don't really care when they have that person come into their life. They're just like nonchalant, not making that person a priority, not that keen on them, not that interested, busy off doing other things. And they take the person for granted, and that's karma. You know, if what goes around comes around. And if you treat people like that with ignorance and disrespect and low value, you're going to get people treating you like that. You know, so don't be one of those people. Be the change the world needs to see you know, be an example, and walk away from those people that are no good for you. Because you are damn well worth more than that. You're worth the time, energy, and effort. You're worth someone wanting to spend time with you. You're worth some person saying, hey, I want to see you. I want to spend time with you. I want to be in your presence. I can't wait to see you. I'm really looking forward to being with you. You know, and who does really mean it, you know? And you have to let go of the people that just don't understand you, don't really want to know you, not that bothered about you, don't really care that much about you, rather be going off and doing other things than spending time with you, who makes excuses, who doesn't want to put in time, energy, hard work and effort, because they're really not up to the job of being with you, you know? So we have to let these people go. We have to let these people go. I hope you found this video useful, helpful, insightful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Love to know what you think. Pop a comment down below. If you've got any comments or questions, do put them down below in the comment section. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live like now, post a new video. Lots of love to you. Bye. Lots of love.